Hey, Maine girl, what's going on? I'm out here drowning perfectly good sunnies, bluegill, whatever you prefer to call them. Ah, you're working? Yeah, I'm just down on the river here. Actually, they call it a river, but it looks to me more like a stream. That's what I would classify it as. But I've been here about 45 minutes, and I really haven't had a touch, so I'm not expecting a whole lot. But I figured go live for a little bit just before it gets too dark. I don't feel like setting up lights because the bugs are horrendous. So once it goes dark, I just sit in the dark and wait to hear a bell. Lease 3, hello. Thanks for coming in. We're out here fishing for catfish today. Keyword right now is fishing. We haven't done any catching yet. So that far rod way in the back there, that's got a big old live bluegill on it, and it's very close to shore. I'm just going to leave that out, hoping that as it gets a little darker, maybe a flathead might move in. I'm not really paying a whole lot of attention to it. And these two rods here in the front, the orange rod has cut bluegill on it, and the second rod behind it has another live bluegill. So you're in Brazil. It's 11:20 p.m., huh? Yeah, pay no attention if you see that white rod move and you hear the bell a little bit. Don't worry about that too much. That bluegill's hustling around down there, swimming around. I'll worry about that if the rod tip goes towards the water. So what's going on in Brazil? Is that like a big party town, party country over there? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've never been out that way. When I was a little younger, I did all my partying in Italy and Germany and Switzerland, places like that. Hey, competitive angler, what's going on? We're out here in between getting bit by mosquitoes, hoping to get bit by a fish, but that hasn't happened yet. Oh, I got a little action on this first rod. That's a piece of cut bait, so something's messing with it. The other two rods have live bait. I'll show you, kind of show you where I'm fishing. It's just a little. Um, they call it a river, but it's really, to me, it's more like a stream. Just comes flowing by. Oh, something's tapping, messing around with that their first rod. I'm in no rush. I'll let him take it. We'll see what happens. We have a lot of eels in here too, so I don't get too excited on those little tap bites because a lot of times the eels will be messing with your bait. That's the one reason, like, I won't fish with chicken livers or anything like that. There you go, competitive angler. I wrenched you in so you could check out other channels. Not that there's a whole lot in here, but uh, this is a this spot usually I do pretty good. I usually get a couple of channels when I come, but I'm not really sure if there's a spawn, going on or not. It just seems slow lately. Curtis, what's going on, Curtis? Curtis, this might not be action-packed like the Bugman show in the morning. We're just out here killing a little time till it gets too dark. I got Curtis, I got bluegill on the far two rods. Hold on, I gotta swing this back around. That white rod way back there. I got a big old bluegill on that, and that's real close to the shore. That's that's kind of like a shits and giggles. And then the other two rods, the orange rod's the only one that has cut bait. The rod right next to it has Buckman, never heard of her. The other one's got another live bluegill on, so we'll see what happens. So it's been hot. It's been hot here, competitive angler. Today was actually a cooler day. No, Steve, actually I'm on the Millstone River, Steve, which is, up in Bound Brook, that area there. So hold on there, Steve. There you go, Steve. I gave you a little power, Steve. And, let me hit PR. Let me hit you up. Just there you go. Trying to wrench in everybody so they could check each other out. So nothing going on here yet. The last couple outings have been kind of slow. Picked up a flathead yesterday, but that was like a one-hit wonder. I wasn't live. I did a short on it, so it's there if anyone wants to look at it. So I had got a plane going overhead. I caught up a bunch of bluegill for yesterday's trip, and I had them left over, and I think pretty much the next 5 days here is going to be nothing but rain, so I figured I'd come out and use them up. Thank you, Possum. I appreciate that. We'll see what happens. You can't catch them all the time, but you could try to catch them all the time. That first rod got a little bump. I usually do better on the cut bait here, which is what's on that first rod. Yeah, you guys bouncing. I don't like the looks of it though. Almost looks either eel-like or turtle-like. I'm hoping not turtle. Yeah, Possum, I say that a whole lot. Let me see what's going on with that rod. Maybe I can feel something. Give me a second. Of course, it's not gonna move. I'm gonna leave it sit. So. So much for that. Those bites stopped. Oh yeah, it's pretty. I gotta say, it's nice this time of year. Before you know, it'll get hot, and you won't even want to be out here. Last night actually was kind of miserable to be out. It was really humid. The bugs were bad. Today doesn't seem so bad. We'll see what happens. It's probably a better time in Brazil right now, I bet. I think in Brazil you guys have those giant Wells catfish. That's something I'd like to one day get into. Hey, Fishless Fisherman. How are you, sir? That's pretty much me at the moment. So, I wasn't even gonna go live, but I just figured, what the heck. It's been a while. Yeah, Potsdam, I do. It's all about getting out here. You can either sit home or sit here. You know, I'm not gonna catch anything at home, and if I'm not gonna catch anything here, well, at least I tried, and I'm sitting out here, and nobody's bothering me. I hear you, at least. Come on, fish. I came out a little earlier today, being Friday, because I wanted to get the spot. And I usually don't even try to go out on Fridays or Saturdays, Sundays. It's too busy. I usually do most of my fishing during the week. So yeah, Potsdam. This is like a river that feeds into a bigger river, and I'm probably I guess maybe about a mile upstream from where they meet. It's not very wide. You could cast right over this pretty easily. So I got something playing with that first rod, that first line. See if I turn this, you might be able to see the line bouncing a little bit. It's not so much the rod, but the line. You can see that right in there. It's got to be an eel or something. Not really sure what that is. Hey, Lisa Elliott, what's going on? Hey, Regs, what's going on? What's cracking? Nothing's cracking. Everything's just soaking. Ain't got much going on here. Except this first rod that's either a turtle or an eel. Messing with a piece of cut bluegill. That's the one thing about fish. The other two rods have live on it. And that's one thing about live is you don't have to worry about the eels and all that other stuff coming and pecking. But it's a longer wait with the live bait. I have no idea what that is. Hey, Lisa, Aaron, did you guys get on some fish for Martin when he came out for the gathering? Oh, that's good. Glad he caught some. It's a long ride to get here. He doesn't go live anymore, does he? I remember some of his lives when he was setting up with black lights. You know, when he first started messing with the night fishing with the black lights, and I was looking forward to it. And then he kind of I didn't see much else come out after that. I'm just as guilty. I ride YouTube in waves. You know, I'll watch it first. I'll watch all the lives for a while, but then I get busy, and then some days I just feel like fishing without any distractions. I gotta move that bait because whatever's pecking at it's starting to get on my nerves. See what happens. It's actually darker out than what you're seeing on the screen. That's the bell you're hearing is a second rod. You really can't see it, but I think that bluegill's just getting a little life to him. Oh, they do. They do. I love these rods. I love the action. I love everything about them. You know what? I didn't even bring my black light tonight. So, oh, somebody driving by here, checking out the spot. Kind of think that guy was hoping to get into this spot, but I beat him to it. He drove by, he hit a spot. I hear him stop a little ways down. He must have set up and tried that for a little bit and decided no. Mark, no, not the canal. I'm on the Millstone up in Bound Brook. It looks just like the canal, basically the same thing. Bye, Liz. Thanks for coming in. I'm gonna check out your channel when I, get off stream and sub up to you. Yeah, Mark. No, nothing's going on here, Mark. It's slow. Oh, I gotta switch this back around. I got 3 rods out, Mark. The orange rod's got cut bluegill, and the other 2 have live bluegill. So if you hear the bells or you see the little rod tips bouncing around, it's nothing. So. All of a sudden now it's getting darker out. The sunnies are starting to swim around out there a little bit. So, you know what I like about Mad Catz? I like their medium light rods. I'm kind of disappointed they don't make them anymore. They're good for people like me who are further up north and the fish aren't as big, And the medium lights definitely will handle bigger fish. Aaron, it didn't take me long, but after I got in touch with you and ordered my first one, before I knew it, there were 9 of them in the living room. So. Yeah, you got mediums. Yeah, I think I have 3 medium lights, and then the rest are all mediums. Truth be told, I really don't see a huge difference in them, but the medium. Oh, no kidding, Mark. Last night I was fishing the lock, over there right off of 287. Didn't do nothing, and there was a couple other guys there that really didn't do anything either. And one guy chatted me up on his way out, and was telling me that the smallies have been loaded in there, you know, and but I haven't seen, didn't see anyone catch any. Everybody I saw was basically catfishing. So I'll probably stick it out here till it all depends. 10 o'clock maybe. This place seems to get better once it's dark, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, they're at the bridge, huh? Oh, they got an open house, Regs? Yeah. If I was down that way, I would check it out. would like to get down to the oh geez, CatCon one time, just because I would like to see, you know, all the rod makers and stuff, and everybody else too. Everyone goes down there, so it'd be kind of like a semi-gathering. I had to cancel out of going to the gathering this year because my vertigo was really giving me some grief, which thankfully has subsided. That seems to creep up about like every 10 years and lasts about a month or so. And but I'm kind of, in a way, I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I was planning on tent camping anyway, and I don't think that would have been a good route to go. I think, you know, next year I'll have to revisit that, and instead of coming down for a weekend, taking like a week and, you know, getting either a hotel or something, and have some comforts there too. Because you got to remember, I'm a northern boy, so I'm sure sleeping at night down there, I'm going to feel like I'm in a sauna. So, fishless fisherman, how often do I go live? Not a whole lot, you know. You can probably see if you look at my channel, you know, maybe once a month, sometimes longer than that. Sometimes, you know, a couple times in a row. It all depends. It's almost guaranteed if I go live, I don't catch anything. That's why most of the stuff I do is just shorts. A lot of times I'll come out and I'll just set up my phone and just record the whole time. And then if anything happens, I'll use that. So that far rod down there, that bluegill's really bouncing. Yeah, nothing. Oh yeah, you know, Mark, the first time I fished that lock, you know, I walked up and I was like, oh God, I can't do this. I was afraid I was gonna fall in, you know, and that triggered it like even worse, you know. And I was like, what do I do if I catch one, you know? Because, you know, but you have to do to net the fish. And sure as enough, you know, I actually went because I didn't believe flatheads were in there, you know. So I went out and I set up and stayed far from the edge. I barely had my rod tip over the edge, you know, and sure enough, that rod doubled over, and I had probably what I could tell in my headlamp looking down, because I didn't have a net. I didn't know there was no way I was getting it up, you know. I just stared down at it after I wore it out, and I'd say it was probably, you know, upper 20s, maybe 30, you know. And there's nothing I could do. I couldn't lift it or anything, you know. And I was like, I kind of gave up on fishing that spot because I was afraid, you know. I was afraid of, you know, falling in. And then I got a little better, you know. I ended up buying a pier net, so, you know, that took care of that. And the second time I went out there, I got like a 22 and an 8. And then another time I went out and I got one somewhere in the teens, maybe 14. And then I just got away from it because it's cool and all. I mean, you know, you can hook up, but it's kind of tough to fight a fish straight down, and he runs you up and down that lock, you know. I'd rather have the fish out in front of me where you know, you can fight it and it can make runs and stuff. So yeah, possum, that's true. You know, when I work all day, I kind of just have lives on in the background, and I can't watch them, but instead of you know, being on the radio, I'll just listen to them, and basically in there for the conversations and stuff. Especially in the morning. I don't know if you're familiar with or you listen to Bugman 22. He's got a good show on in the morning usually. I think it's Mondays and Fridays, and basically all it is conversation. You know, good bunch of guys, ladies come in there, and you know, it passes the morning commute, like, you know, rather than listening to the radio and getting aggravated with everything that's on that. Yeah, Mark, when I first started fishing over there, that crossing was open, you know, and you used to be able to just cross right over that and take. Well, my hip was actually pretty bad. I had a real bad hip that I had replaced 2 years ago, so I really couldn't venture down the canal like with a wagon like I used to do, you know. But I can start doing that again too, you know. But you know, nobody this, Mark. Sometimes you just get lazy. You pull up, the parking is right there. You drop your stuff, and you know you just you figure out, you know, if I get something, I do. If I don't, I don't. You know, those spots I kind of like. I have a few spots like that where I could set up my rods and basically sit in the car, in the Jeep rather. And I like those spots during the winter. You know, like because I fish year round as long as the ponds and stuff aren't froze over. I'll fish them, and if it gets too cold or too, basically if it's too windy, I'll set up and then I'll just watch from the Jeep. But I guess I've been fishing for about a little over an hour now. Not much going on. It's not looking promising, Mark. I'm not really sure if the spawn is on here or not, Mark. You know, I see NJ did real good on the carp today. I was listening, and every time I turned around, there was drag going. Yeah, Possum. I don't, you know, I don't bring a whole lot to go live. All I got is my tripod and my phone. You know, I'm not really, you know, a big YouTuber. You know, like trying to make an account where I'm going to monetize or anything like that. I just got into it from listening to guys during the day, and I was like, you know what? When I retire in a couple of years, it wouldn't be so bad to, like, you know, fish during the day and just go live to see if there's anybody else who, you know, wants to just come in and chat or whatever. But I don't want to have a schedule, you know, where like, I mean, there are guys like NJ. It's every day he's out there, man. That's dedication. I would burn out. I'd burn out way too quick trying to do something like that. Yeah, Mark, I can't get my rod holders in the ground anywhere along that lock there. That's why I have that wooden sawhorse. Actually, I think you've seen it before, but right there, I use that, you know, and I get rod holders in the ground here, but that's just so much easier. I just take it out of the back of the Jeep, set it down, and it's heavy enough. It's all 2x4s and stuff that and the angle, if I you know, they can't pull it over. The first one I made, I used a little bit lighter lumber, and I had set the rod holder so the rods were straight up, and it would topple over. But going at the 45-degree angle, it changed it all up. Yeah, Possum. Possum, where you at? Like, where you located? He caught 10 and lost 10. Man, that's a 20 fish day, man. That's phenomenal. That's good action, man. Oh, Missouri. Missouri, however the locals out there pronounce it. Never been out there. The furthest I've ever gotten to the west was Texas, actually Fort Hood, Texas, when I was stationed down there. And whatever state you have to drive through to get there from New Jersey. Never seen California. I never seen Washington. I had an Army friend who was lived out in Seattle, and you know, we'd go back and forth for years after we got out about how we were gonna hook up, and you know, I was gonna go out there, and he lives out by the just a mile down from where he lived. The Pacific Crest Trail crossed over. Hey, Gigs, and I like hiking a lot too. I hike the Appalachian Trail here, but I always wanted to go out west and do some hiking on the Pacific Crest, and that just never happened. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, 4 years ago, my buddy took his life. My Army buddy, he just did, you know, PTSD, whatever. He just had some demons he couldn't shake. Good old Gigs in here. Now we're gonna catch fish. Now that Gig came in. Mark, this is the point where you start getting like, okay, what's going on here? I'm ready to take all the live bait off, drop the hook sizes, start throwing little pieces of cut bait out there. Yeah, but I'm gonna hang tough tonight. It's big fish or no fish. Yeah, possum. It is what it is. He had some tough times. Every once in a while, he would call me up, and I'd sit up all night, and talk him out of it. And there wasn't a whole lot I could do, being we're on opposite coasts. And heck, one year I was away on a fishing trip for a week, and he called my house looking for me. This is all before cell phones and stuff. And I wasn't home, but my wife is very familiar with his situation. And she actually sat up almost all night and talked to him. And then usually you talk to him, he feels better, and then he goes to sleep. He tells you he's tired, he's going to sleep, and then he's good. Oh man, I'll tell you what, Gig. I can't let my wife know that you're a shrimper. She'd leave me and go to you in a heartbeat. She loves her shrimp. Where do you do that at, Gig? Are you up like up in New England or down south? Florida. You down there anywhere near Smallwater, John? I know he fishes I see in the Okeechobee all the time. That's his. I think it's Okeechobee that he fishes for the crappie all just about every day down there. Mark, when you getting out next? We got to get together, Mark, one day and find some channel cats somewhere. Even if we have to go to a park pond somewhere and try to whoop up on them. Oh, yeah, Pa, I hear you. I could walk away from YouTube in a heartbeat because, like I said, it's just something I dabble with. But the one thing I always say I want to do away with is Facebook, but it sucks you in because there's so many people I know that's the only way I know them, you know. I mean, it's funny, you kind of live your life with friends that you never met. I got Facebook friends that I talk to on the phone and everything else, but I've never met them in person yet. I've known them for years now. And for me, most of them are all down south. For some reason, it's no one up in my own area, except for the exception of Mark P, who we probably could throw rocks at each other, and we still haven't met. Yeah, that's something, Possum. How I don't know how old you are, but I'm hitting 60 now, and it's so much different now as opposed to how it used to be, as far as meeting people and stuff. 34. Oh man, you're a young guy. I remember being 34 and not feeling young though. So I know I fished 5 minutes from your house. That's unbelievable. I say it all the time, Mark. I probably walked right past you at one point or another and said, "Hey, how's it going?" you know, just in passing. Yeah. Yeah. I would never. Farm life's hard, man. When I was a kid, I used to spend my summers with my grandparents up in cow country, Pennsylvania, and was all dairy farms. They weren't dairy farmers. My grandfather just retired and decided he wanted to move out and away from everybody, you know. And he ended up out there in cow country, and I used to spend my summers with him. And there were dairy farms all around him, you know. I would go down there with the milk jug and get milk every couple days from them, and you know, I hung around. I used to help them, like, you know, I thought I was helping them. I was a young guy, you know, but I would help them push the cow, bring the cows in at night, you know, and then it was pretty wild though when I was a kid watching the cows lay down and give birth out in the field. You know, that was pretty something. And but yeah, I didn't really work it, but I could see the others working it, you know, and how hard the families worked out there. Man, that back rod there, way out there, far rod. For a second, as I was talking to you, I was kind of paying attention to it. I thought I was going to do something, but that Sonny just something must have got him stirred up down there, and he's moving around. Cattle farming, crop farm. Yeah, I have a problem growing 6 tomatoes without plants without killing them here. But like my grandfather, like I said up in PA, he had about a quarter acre that he had. You know, he grew his vegetables in. You know, he grew his own vegetables and stuff since the nearest town to get anything, any, you know, canned goods or anything like that. Whoop. Come on, take it. That was the best pull down I had. So he grew his own vegetables and stuff. Thought that was going to be a hook up there for a second. Like I said, it seems the darker it gets at this spot, the better it gets. But I'm not going to be able to stream into that. Like I said, I didn't bring any lights, and I really don't want to go live in the dark here with lights and stuff. The bugs will be insane. But I think what I'll do is I might switch another rod over to cut bait. I'm starting to get weak, Mark. But oh, he's back on that cut bait. Come on, fishy. So I can swing that out a little better. Yeah, right, Mark. Mark, I was getting ready to start tying like egg sacks minus eggs and just throwing sardines in it, you know? I mean, and trying that out, seeing how that would work. I'll tell you, you know, you want to catch flatheads, but in our area here, Mark, you got to work hard for one because there's just not many of them. Every year I say, you know, I'm going to devote my attention to catching them here, and no matter what, I'm fishing hard for them, and then 3 trips later, I'm back to the channels. No, you're right, Possum. That's what I use. I always catch my bluegill, and for the most part, and I use cup bluegill 99% of the time. Although there's one pond that I go to that it seems like the only thing the channel cats want to touch, believe it or not, are hot dogs. I tried like getting fancy with them with like cut bluegill, shrimp, bacon, nope, hot dogs. So when I go there, I got a package of hot dogs with me. I never really fished chicken. Just, I don't know, for the mess that it is, I just never really saw results with it. But starting to get pretty dark here. Yeah, huh? Snapping turtle? No, I don't know, man. I don't fish a whole lot during the day though, Mark, so maybe that's it. I fish at night more. I think a lot of the turtles I think kind of lay down at night. It's not nowhere near as bad. Like I could never fish during the day like NJ does, First of all, I just can't, I have no desire to be out there in the sun like that. Possum. I know a lot of guys, friends who've caught flatheads on lures when bass fishing, especially guys on the Delaware River here, the tidal section of the Delaware River. I got a friend who does bass tournaments, and he's always sending me pictures of flatheads that he caught. But I think I'm gonna end this only because it's getting pretty dark. The bass in your picture has caught. Oh, it's caught. Yep. Mark, one time I caught in a pond. I was fishing for a catfish at night, and I ended up with a chunk of hot dog. I caught a giant koi. Somebody threw koi into this pond or whatever, and it was white. So there I am at night, and I'm reeling this fish in the dark, and the headlamp is picking up, and I'm like, oh my god! I thought it was an albino Chandler cat that maybe somebody threw in, aquarium fish. And I'm like, cause I didn't even think anything else would eat a chunk of hot dog other than a turtle. Watching that far rod. But yeah, the carp took a chunk of hot dog. I was really surprised. But yeah, I think I'm going to end this so I could put my headlamp on. And Mark, I think I'm going to go to cut bait on all but that far rod back there and see what happens. You'll be the first to know, Mark. If anything happens tonight, I'll throw it up on Facebook. I didn't throw the flathead I got yesterday up there because I didn't want any of the local friends to see where that's at, because that video had a lot of identifying features of where I was at. And being as I don't think flatheads are supposed to be in there, I didn't want to advertise it. So, but thanks for coming in, Mark P. I appreciate it. I know you're up you're on all day with NJ, but definitely want to fish with you. So we'll have to figure that out. I'll message you through Facebook, and maybe we could work something out. So, Gig, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it, man. It's sorry we didn't catch anything today, but I'm pretty sure I will though, but just not on the stream. So, but all right, everybody, thanks for coming in, man. I really appreciate you all. Stay safe and God bless you. All right, till we meet again. Peace.